Dzięki, dzień dobry. Moi drodzy, żeby wyjaśnić to, tu jest dużo
Hey,
ładnych słów.
to explain things, there are many nice words, but I'm just a normal person. I don't have any super tricks. I don't do the world's best research. I make errors and I make suggestions. Things like those have happened. I'm unique, and if you wanted, you could be here soon as well. I'm one of you, and I know what problems you stand up to in your design in everyday life. Let me start from speaking about April. In April, I didn't much know what this presentation is going to be like. In April, there was war. It went on, and when I knew that I would be here in September, nearly 6 months later, perhaps everything will have been over. I hoped for a return to the reality we would love it to be, magically. But life wrote a different scenario. We, the people, want stabilization. We want to know what tomorrow is going to bring us, what my salary is going to be, and we're designers. We've come to a conference. Imagine, it's Friday, you're finishing work, you know your user, you know who your user is, and you know your user's problems, you know their journey, customer journey, you know the touch points, and on Wednesday you learn that there is no such user. The user is gone, and the user has different problems, and it's a bit of a tale of how we tackle that challenge, a horrible challenge. It's a difficult situation, and I want to show it. Showing it in a very generalized way. There are many generalizations and simplifications. If you want to know more details, talk to me. I say that we need stabilization. We all would like to know what we're going to do tomorrow. In UX, like nowhere else, if you go to a new company, you can't be sure that you know what you're going to do. Does the organization know what to do? This is a problem we frequently tackle. Why do I say it? In 92, Francis Fukuyama published a book about the end of history. We all wanted to believe that when the Soviet Union breaks up, we enter into liberalism and consumptionism, we'll be able to take seats in armchairs. That was naive, but we need a tale that ends well and everything arranges itself perfectly well. Well, we are an organization that helps people change the place where they work. They can make their dreams come true. They can come from outside the EU, renovate their home, buy a car, help children get married, and work here in the EU. And we've worked in the market for 15 years. We are not ideal. There are many people here. We don't have the best interfaces, commons. We probably don't have the best world's best research, but we have plenty of data. We are very close to our client, and this is something we try to monetize on. Our division has been here around only for several years. There are some people from it here, and we are trying to hug our user, to know them. We help people from the East to move to Europe, not only from Ukraine, also Kazakhstan, and also from the West, Cuba. We have people from various parts of the world, and we help them move here, start working, and earn their dreams. Last year, we helped 29,000 people. This year, when the year was starting, we were sitting there in our T-shirts, deciding what to do, what resources we have, how many sprints we will have. We intended to help 100,000 people to arrive here in Europe, because we also help in other countries. We send people to Germany, to Romania, to the Baltics. We've got more markets to which we send people. And that's briefly what we do. Who our clients are? Today, mostly these are Ukrainians. Do we have any people coming from Ukraine here? If you could
Kilka osób, witam was serdecznie.
take your hand up.
wszystkich.
Yes, welcome
Fajnie, że
everyone.
jesteście z nami.
It's so
Słuchajcie,
good
kilka
to have you
prostych
with
danych. Mamy
us.
mnóstwo
Some
danych,
simple
tutaj
data.
kilka,
We've
żeby wam
got plenty of
pokazać.
data.
Jak spojrzycie
This
tutaj, to co się
is
działo na samym
just
początku.
small number.
Na
What we
początku
had in the
nasz
beginning.
klient
In the
wcześniej
beginning of the year,
Jak
we
widzicie,
saw what our
troszkę
client
przewaga
was
mężczyzn
like.
nad kobietami.
Some are men
Wiemy,
than
w jaki
women.
sposób
We
posługują się
know
językiem.
how they
Wiemy, że
use
większość
their
rozumie
language.
język
We know
polski,
that
chce
most of them understand
korzystać z
Polish.
języka
They
polskiego,
want
uczy się
to
go.
use Polish. They learn
Większość,
Polish.
ludzi, którzy
Most
przyjeżdżają
of
do nas
the
do
people
pracy,
who
podoba
arrive to
im się
work
to,
here,
chcą pracować
they
u nas, ale
like
nie
it, they
wszyscy.
want
Nie
to
wszyscy
work
są
here,
zadowoleni.
but not all of
Jest
them.
mnóstwo problemów, z
Not
którymi
all of
oni
them are
spotykają się na co
satisfied.
dzień.
They encounter plenty of
Jak
problems in
spojrzycie
their
tutaj
daily
na ten
life.
wykres kołowy,
And when you
11%
see
ludzi
this
przyjeżdżało z dziećmi.
chart,
Oni
11%
przyjeżdżali w większości do pracy.
are
Mamy kilka kategorii naszych klientów. Mamy
people
osoby
come
młode,
with
takie
children.
dzisiaj
We
tutaj.
have young people,
Takie
just
osoby,
like
które
you
chcą
gathered
przepracować
here.
8 godzin, chcą być
People
blisko
who want to
używać
work
środka
for
miejskiego,
8 hours,
skorzystać
want
z
to be
życia. Są osoby w
close to
średnim wieku, które
big
przyjeżdżają,
city,
żeby zarobić.
use their
Chcą
life.
przepracować
People
dużo godzin.
middle-aged
Chcą
who
zabrać
want to
pieniądze
work
i
many
zainwestować je w to,
hours,
myślą,
get the
marzą.
money and
Mamy też
invest
osoby
in their
starsze,
dreams. There are also the
powyżej
elderly
50 roku
over
życia, które
50
przyjeżdżają do nas pracować.
who come here
One
to
chcą
work.
pomóc dzieciom,
They want to
wnukom,
help their
życiu.
children, their grandchildren to get married, for example. And they come here to help
Mamy też
their
dane, które
family.
mówią
We
o tym,
also
że
have data
niecałe 50%
that
osób, które do nas przyjeżdżały,
tells us that
robiły to z polecenia.
close to
Można by taką
50%
usunąć
did
hipotezę,
it
że
because
skoro
they had a
ktoś im z
recommendation.
polecenia
If somebody
organizuje pracę w
recommended
innym kraju,
them to
to dział
work in
marketingu
another
może
country,
powiedzieć, to
the
jest
marketing
świetne
division should
robimy
say,
reklamy,
it's a great place,
targetujemy
let's
i ściągamy ich za
make an
pomocą
advertisement, target them,
narzędzi
and let's
informatycznych.
get them here
I
through
tutaj jest
IT
jakby
tools.
pierwsza rzecz,
And
którą
this
warto
is
byłoby
where we
zapamiętać.
encounter the
Te
first
dane,
thing
które mamy
worth
liczbowe,
remembering.
bardzo łatwo wyciągnąć z nich błędne wnioski.
The numerical
Bo
data
trzeba
can
zapytać,
give us
dlaczego oni w ogóle
problems
potrzebują
while
w
drawing
dużym stopniu
conclusions.
kogoś,
Why do they
kogo zobaczą
need
fizycznie, z kim
somebody
będą
to
mogli
see
porozmawiać,
physically,
przyjechać do
somebody
pracy.
to talk to,
I okazuje się, że ci ludzie,
about the
którzy
work
przyjeżdżają
they've come
spoza
to?
Unii Europejskiej
The
do nas,
people who come from outside the
są często
EU
oszukiwani.
are
Są często
often
obiecywane im
duped.
rzeczy, których
People
pracodawcy nie
promise
dowożą.
them
Są
things that
obiecywane
the
im miejsca, w
employers
których
don't
będą
deliver.
mieszkać, które
They
w
are
rzeczywistości
promised
są
places
zupełnie
to
inne.
live, and
Przeraźlibyście
their
się,
accommodation is
zobaczyli
absolutely
niektóre
different.
miejsca
You'd
ludzi,
be
którzy przyjeżdżali
scared
do
to
naszego
see
kraju, które zdawało
some
nam się obserwować.
places which we observed
Rozumiemy,
where
że
those
to
people who
wynika
arrived
bardzo
in
często z braku
Poland lived
zaufania
in.
i jest to mechanizm, który został
Sometimes
wytworzony.
their decisions
Mechanizm,
result
który pozwala
from
im
lack
się w
of
jakiś sposób
trust,
zabezpieczyć, że
and
jeżeli
there
ja
is a
kogoś
mechanism
poznam,
that may
to nie
help
zostanę
them.
oszukany. To
If I
jest
get to
mniejsze
know someone, I won't be
że
duped, I
dostanę
won't be
miejsce
cheated.
pracy,
There's a
na które ja się
high
zgadzam.
likelihood that I'll
I
get a
stworzono
job that
właśnie
I agreed to.
taki mechanizm.
And
I
a
my
mechanism
rozumiemy,
was
że taki mechanizm
developed.
istnieje.
We understand
Wiemy,
that
że
such a
kampanie
mechanism
marketingowe,
exists
które
and
wchodzą,
that our
mnóstwo
marketing
firm targetuje
campaigns,
na wschód, swoje
that there are
reklamy.
many
Musicie wiedzieć, że w
companies that
Europie
target
brakuje
their
kilku milionów pracowników.
advertisements to the east. Today,
Więc oni
we
widzą
miss
te plany.
millions
One
of
są, ale
people
oni na nie
working
nie
in
reagują,
Europe.
bo nie mają zaufania.
So these
Oni
people
potrzebują
see
innego
them, but they
sposobu
don't
traktowania.
trust them.
I my, kiedy to
They need a
zrozumieliśmy,
different
to
way
stało
of
się trochę
treatment.
core
When we
naszego
understood
działania.
it, that
Znamy
turned into the
pain point
core
naszych
of our
użytkowników i klientów i staramy się je
activity.
wypełnić.
We
Wiemy, że jeżeli nie
know
zbudujemy tego
what
zaufania,
our users
jeżeli go nie
need. We
zdobędziemy,
know that if we
jeżeli,
don't win
nie
the
poprawimy tego,
trust,
jak
if
oni
we
na nas
don't
patrzą,
improve the way
oni
they
nie
look
będą
at us,
reagować na
they
ten
are
sposób
not
działania. A my
going to
chcemy się
react to our manners
rozwijać,
of
chcemy
operation, and
szerzyć
we
swoje
want to
zagraniczne,
develop, we want to
więc
go
budujemy
on
zaufanie.
more broadly, we want to
Zaufania nie
go
ma
to
w marketingu, bez
foreign
zaufania
markets.
nie ma transakcji,
Without
bez zaufania
trust,
nie ma
there is no
pracy w
marketing,
innych
no
krajach.
transactions,
Jakie są dane liczbowe?
no work in other
Lubię dane
countries.
liczbowe,
These
lubię
are
się
numerical
posługiwać.
data. I
Mamy
like
bardzo
numerical
dużo tych
data.
przykładów, oczywiście chętnie się z wami
I love using them.
jeden
We
slajd,
would
który
love to
przekazany
share
jest
them
jeden
with you.
z
This
jednego z
is
naszych raportów.
one slide with data from our
Regularnie
reports.
korzysta z nich
We publish them
i
quite
Ministerstwo
regularly.
Spraw Wewnętrznych
The
państwo,
Ministry
ale
of
lokalne
Foreign Affairs, that's the state, use them as well as local structures, so that we have a bigger picture, so that we knew more.
w różnych zespołach.
You work in
Przywołujecie
different
do
teams.
pracy
You
z użytkownikami w różny
convince
sposób.
people to the users' rights in different ways. You can use data and also the persona of your user. You can like personas or not, but it's just a tool. And the greatest benefit are the tales of the users. Users may have their problems and some may be empathetic, and I sometimes try to recommend that. Now, I want you to meet Oksana. Oksana is a kinologist. That's the science of dogs. Oksana decided to invest everything. This is the walk of her life. She's fascinated in dogs. She's completed training courses. She's devoted life to it. She chose that life. She does it well. She she starts making her first money. She's a member of a kinological association and she deals with animals. She wants to renovate her house. She starts making money. Passion turns into profit. She likes it. She's happy. She loves the animals she works with. And that's her. And she will live with us. Let it be a tale, a narrative that we will follow together. And now, in the briefest of brief, what do we do as EWL? There are plenty of people we serve. We provide services for not only young, but also mid and older. We help to find work. We help to legalize the stay. Some super solutions there are. There was a webinar about improving your dream, about meditating. They look cool. We let people be legal, stay here legally. In Poland, in the EU, it's very complicated. It's a problem. We want people who come to EU to work have no problem. I'm not saying that they can avoid it in 100%. No, we want this problem to diminish. And I believe that if I want to have a good product is a product that you can't see. If you have a product that users don't notice, that's a product they have no problems with. Legalization is one of those products. We want to take their papers, look into the acts of law, and tell them what to do so that they don't commit mistakes, because you can make a very simple mistake. If someone in Ukraine wants to work in Poland, the employer in one type of legalization defines the post, the job. And imagine that they are warehouse assistant. We start working on it and there are documents. If the employer changes this post, in some types of applications, this person cannot work. And if they work somewhere else, a controller comes, this person may never return. So there are some traps that give us more work, and we help in accommodation. Finding a job is one thing, and very often new people come who never went abroad, and they need to find a new place. And that's another challenge for us. We have found some products. We were sitting in those rooms, in the armchairs. We thought, okay, we'll make a mobile app. It will partner them. It will be transparent, because transparency is something that gives you a sense of security. It will tell you when you will be paid, how much you will be paid, write down how many hours you have worked, learn what laws have changed, to be able to work easily so that it tells you what's happening at your end. Yes, we work on legalization, and there's the mathematics of recruitment. We work on the data to get our sales and adaptive models so that they could work, they could write, we need so many people from this moment, and we tell them more or less what our prediction is, because you need to recruit these people, show them the offer, and make sure that they come. There are many points between those two edges, between those two extremes. There are many paths between them. There are many obstacles to overcome. We've made predictions of that route. And now 2 days, 22nd February, we're 2 days before full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Many people may believe that it only started. No, it continued since 2014. People were dying every day. They were sent to the front line, to the border. People who never knew whether they are returning home. 2 days before everything started, I talked a lot to people who are close to our management, to the staff who live in Ukraine, and I keep asking them, will there be a war? And they say, probably not. Perhaps no. Maybe in Donbas, in Lugansk, but there will be no war. And if we follow that declaration, because we collect our declarations in our questionnaires, opinion polls, if we believed in that declaration, we would commit a mistake, because the war would break out in 2 days. But if we looked at the people in Kyiv, we would see that they had been sending their children to the West for 2 weeks. They were getting ready for possible developments. There are data, verify them. On the first day, there was this idea to triangulate the studies. Let's verify our assumptions, because that would let us avoid most errors. 24th February come and war starts. If we looked at it just the human way, that's a drama for many, a tragedy for many people. For us, as designer teams that could be separated from people, that would be a change of the user. You've got to adjust to that and understand what has happened. Now, as a third people of our people are Ukrainians, this also concerns our organization. It's inside. We had to learn where we are. And then the customer experience team is the periscope to let you find yourselves where we are. We had to see who our users are and where we can help them. Just like many of us, we were considering where to get involved. I've got a handful of data for you. There's plenty of data, of course, but this shows how our user changed. Before we had women and men, let's say almost half and half. After the start of the war, we've got 92% of women, 6.5 are men. Okay, but you've got plenty of people, you can involve them. But remember that the men who worked before, they worked in specific conditions. And I can't now take a woman to that place. There are conditions, there are requirements, safety of work, health issues. So we have job offers, but we don't have people to man those, or rather to woman those. Before the conflict, 11% arrived with children because they wanted to work. Now we had 63 with children. Does this impact our B2C customer? That's how we call them? Yes, of course. If they have so many children, we can't work 2 full-time jobs. So factories, warehouses where we normally work, we have to reorganize the way we work. If majority are women, we know that somebody's got to take care of the children if the woman works. So we have plenty of women with children in the labor market and they want to work. You probably heard many times that people who arrived here were escaping from war and came here because they have great conditions. They're coming here because life is more comfortable here at somebody's cost. No. The truth is that most of these people want to work, and 2/3 of the immigrants who are staying here for longer, refugees, they work. That's a real phenomenon. The report we published yesterday shows it great, how these people get accommodated in the labor market. It's not true that they expect anything. No, these are people who want to come and who want to work to earn their life and the lives of their children. That's also very early data. These are just the first weeks when that war broke out, when it heated up. In the beginning, 38% thought they would stay here and in other European states. After the conflict started, that dropped down to 7%. Of course, there are multiple factors, patriotic, connected to it, but also the fact that we have many people whose family is at war. Brother, father, your husband, and you want to return to them, and that's absolutely normal. Our organization, there are many different nationalities. In our internal team, we have many people from different countries. There are different perspectives. As you see, Ukraine is a large share. What made it? Well, we wanted to learn who our client is and what we can do with our products. We also wanted to help, and we changed our company. As yet, we had coaches, buses. People got into a bus in Lviv and they arrived in Warsaw. Usually in Warsaw we have a 350-meter room. They get tea, coffee, COVID vaccinations, telephone number, everything. Once this has happened, it can take several hours and they go to the places where they would live and work. When war broke out, those coaches were taking people who were saved from the arriving conflict. The places of arrival of our workers admitted, first of all, little children with parents, mothers, sorry, not parents, and the elderly. This situation cannot really be described what it was in those first days, but that really let us feel our sense of being important. It's easier to do nothing, but it's much better to help people rather than wait for the events to develop. So we were changing our organization. Companies in Poland also needed people to coordinate their needs. We had backpacks and we took charitable support and medications to Ukraine to support people returning to Ukraine. There were people and companies who paid salaries to men returning to the front line so that they could buy their things, their gear. Oksana decided that her life will change. Her decision in the case of war was a mistake. Nobody, well, perhaps not nobody, but hardly anyone was interested in animals. They were no longer significant after the outbreak of war. You need to transport people. Animals, at least in the beginning, are not evacuated. And there was no animal food, there was human food to help people, and water. After several weeks, Oksana had to go to the neighbor's basement because war moved close to her. She could hear explosions, and she took the animals she loved. Several weeks after, in this very difficult plight she was in, she had plans, she knew what she wanted to spend money for, where she wanted to go. All that disappeared. After several weeks, Oksana came to Poland. Her family and friends helped her get here and got her a place to live, and also for her dogs. Now, what does this history teach us? You probably heard of Daniel Kahneman, Nobelist, psychologist, and economist. He speaks of the quick and slow thinking. Quick is that you wash your teeth. When you make tea, you don't have to spend energy on that. But when we speak of major challenges, Excel presentation, you need to spend more mental energy. But we also do it when we adapt some solutions. You design a solution, and you know that adaptation of solutions among younger people is going to be easier. But do you look at what time of day you have this touch point with your product? This is the bar of life. This is the energy we can spend. If we don't have that energy, it will be hard to spend that. And we still have life, we have children we've got to work with, so basic things.
And this cognitive buffer gets regenerated when we sleep, when we take a rest. If you sleep, you can deal with problems the following day. Of course, it costs you different amounts of energy depending on who you are. But it's easy to get an impression that a young person, well, you can imagine that you have a programmer who deals in cryptocurrency, you know, that he doesn't need a lot of sleep. But you can imagine a situation when people don't sleep because they keep waiting for the phone to call, they keep refreshing their texts and news, checking if their parents are all right, whether their partners are all right. No, you can't sleep this way, you can't function this way, and your brain power goes down, and your brain does not get regenerated. And, you know, we have such people in our teams and our employees, even if they are very young, it's difficult for them to adapt new solutions. Even if it's a person who is technologically savvy, even if it's a young person, when they stress out, it's very difficult for them to take new knowledge. Now, think about situations when you were getting married, for example, because of all the stress, it wasn't easy. But think about this stress multiplied 20 or 30 times. So sometimes it seems to us that a user is this or that, but then their possibility of cognition are different. So, okay, we had some ideas at the beginning, but then war came and, maybe 25% of the initial idea is still the same. So now we need to adapt the jobs to the employees that we have. We know that legislation keeps changing. Now the EU has allowed all the refugees to work in the EU using a simple, very simple legislation. But what about those who came to the EU before the war? They can't work according to these simplified rules. So what should they do? Go to Ukraine and come back again? It's not that easy. Now, Poland opened itself to Ukrainians, but the West also opened itself, which until only recently wasn't that ready to take employees from the East. But they've opened up, and we can give jobs to people are also in the West, to give jobs to those who flee from war and who wish to work. Now, perfect match, that's another thing that we offer. We know that our B2C clients, when they see too many job offers, it's difficult for them to make the right decision. So we want to ask them questions about simple behavioral aspects and to limit this number of offers for them so that it's easier for them to make a choice and so that we are more transparent to them. And then we move on to the stage when people get accustomed to the new situation. So there was this conflict. We know how the users have changed, how their problems have changed. It's not that the problems have disappeared, but it turns out that the problems that we had on top of our list are now at the bottom of the list, and we have totally new problems. Now, Oksana has moved to Poland. She's had help from a psychiatrist. And she started coping, right, with the situation. Now, if someone told her that war was over, she'd go to Ukraine instantly. But now she knows that she doesn't really know what her life would look like after the war is finished. And it's a similar situation among millions of people who have come to Poland. This top number was 6 million people. So they live with this huge amount of uncertainty, but she's planning her life, looking after, she wants to look after dogs here in our country. So now, you work with UX teams, and as you know, the history hasn't finished, and it doesn't want to finish. No, it's accelerating. Now, there's inflation ahead of us that will influence our customers. The environmental catastrophe is ahead of us. The situation on the Chinese market that influences our markets too is also important. And now the work of UX designers will be more important than ever because it is you who will help people make quick decisions, especially that one day you will wake up and it will turn out that your clients are totally different. So this means a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, and a lot of reliability on your part. So is UX the best place that I should enter if I want to enter the IT world? No, I would say it's a very interesting but also a very uncertain place. So we need to get prepared to the situation when our customers become different because of the situation. Now, there's this quote which is quite popular, but it well reflects what surrounds us right now. So change is something that's consistent and permanent, and this is definitely that's going to happen to us. Now, if you wish to help us, if you have B2C customers, just as we do, that come from the East, that come from Ukraine, contact us. Write to us, find me on LinkedIn, and add us to your friends, because we want our services to be more visible so that we can help people from Ukraine and Eastern countries more effectively. Because, we could say that the war is happening in Ukraine, but we feel the effects of this war here in Poland. We have 3 million refugees here in Poland, and this will change our country. It will change our future, and we have to make sure that we create a home for everybody here. Well, so if you have some ideas, maybe you have an idea for a startup that would address the problems of these people, turn to us. Or maybe you're looking for a hotel for your dog. Well, contact Oksana. And I do hope that, if we meet here in a year's time, I'll have this really nice message for you and a nice story on how this all has ended. Now, I could just brag here, about these great things that we do, but I'm the team leader, and here we have people who work with me, who've come here. So we have the customer experience team as well. They are not with us today. I'm just doing the slides, trying not to interfere in their everyday job. A round of applause for them and for everybody. Thank you very much.
Szanowni Państwo, Piotr Marszałkowski.
Piotr Marszałkowski. Let's give him a big round of applause. Now it's time for questions, so I'm looking for raised hands.
Przede wszystkim chciałem Ci podziękować bardzo za to.
First and foremost, thank you for this very precious lecture, because it's not only about this particular time, but we're talking about technology and the human context, which is so important.
Z tą prezentacją. Jak przechodząc ulicami Krakowa,
now, yes, when I walk down the streets in Kraków and Warsaw, I keep wondering, what's happening. And I believe that treating this refugee crisis or the war in Ukraine as something temporary is silly, because I believe that the repercussions of the war will stay with us forever, at least some of them. And now you need to think about people from Ukraine, but also about people from the Middle East who cross the Polish and Belarus border. Now, things have changed at a shocking pace. Now, do you believe that Polish cities change quickly enough to
identyfikację, czy w ogóle to, jak są oznaczone nasze miasta,
whether their
one są
identification
przyjazne uchodźcom. Czy myślisz, że to się dzieje za wolno, zdecydowanie za wolno,
and
w sam raz?
being
Może
refugee
gdzie tutaj są
friendly?
jakieś szanse,
Is it
które
happening
możemy my
at the
jako
right
projektanci
pace, or
może
maybe
nie
it's
własnym
happening
softem,
too
albo
slowly,
zgenerować jakieś
and maybe we
pomysły,
should change
żeby
something
oznaczać,
about
nie
it,
wiem,
we
właśnie
the designers.
kwiaty,
Maybe
proste rzeczy. O prostych
we should
motywacji.
mark, simple things for them. Yes, I'd love to have one answer to this question. It's a very difficult question, a question at different levels. So we Poles, I know it sounds a bit lofty, especially that it's used in not good moments, especially by politicians. But, we people gathered here, we do influence this situation. Usually these are grassroots initiatives
i w jaki sposób wygląda nasze otoczenie.
which
Więc mamy
show us
fundamenty,
what
które się
reality
zajmują,
looks
które
like.
starają
So
się
we
też
have
trochę
foundations that
czarować.
deal with
Trzeba
it,
mieć z drugiej strony
that
głowy świadomość, że
try
politycy
to
walczą o
debunk the
głosy.
situation.
Więc
You also need to
tutaj
bear in
jakby
mind
ten
that politicians, they
sposób
fight for
reagowania zawsze będzie trochę
votes.
późniejszy, bo oni muszą
And,
posłuchać,
you know,
zanim
they
zrobią jakiś
always
krok,
need
tak?
to
Oni muszą
listen
jakiś,
first before
posłuchać
they
nas.
take a
Póki,
step.
kiedy my będziemy mieć ten głos, kiedy rzeczywiście
But
będziemy o tym otwarcie mówić, no to będzie trochę łatwiej podjąć tą
once we
decyzję.
have this
No to jest
voice,
jakby
once we are
standardowe.
open
Ale co
about
możemy
it,
zrobić
it will be
dzisiaj?
easier
No
for
to
them
mamy
to make
fundacje, które się tym
decision.
zajmują.
Now, what can we do
Starajmy się
now?
pomagać.
We
Jeżeli
have
mamy
our
taką możliwość, angażujmy się. My jako
Let's
designerzy
try
możemy
and
angażować się
help
w pracę
people.
różnych
We
fundacji,
designers
organizacji,
can
które
be
bardzo
involved in
mocno
the
w to
work of
weszły. Są
different
też fundacje organizacje,
organizations,
które przyszły z
different
Ukrainy do nas.
foundations
Więc
that
możemy się
have
angażować i
entered
wkładać
this
w
topic
swoją
very
pracę, w swoją
deeply.
energię.
So we can get
Macie
involved
coś,
and
co jest najważniejsze i jest dużo bardziej warte
contribute
niż to, że
with
możemy
our
używać tych
energy
środków.
and
To jest wasz czas,
knowledge.
możemy to poświęcić.
So
Okaże się,
you
że
can
dzięki
give
temu,
people
po
money, but
pierwsze,
you can
nauczymy
also
się
give
trochę
them your
więcej, będziemy
time.
troszeczkę bardziej empatyczni,
It
zobaczymy,
is
że świat
important
wygląda
that
trochę
we
inaczej,
learn
a z drugiej strony będziemy
from
w stanie
them
coś
that
włożyć,
we are
w jaki
more
sposób coś przeprojektować.
empathetic.
Wiem, że różne firmy w różny sposób
I
do tego
know
podchodzą.
that there
Oczywiście
are
można
many
się odzywać do firm, w jaki
companies
sposób my możemy
that
pomóc
approach
na
it
przykład tramwajem warszawskim w tym, żeby
differently.
żeby
You
były
can
lepiej
also
oznakowane.
help the
Ale
walls
to
of
są bardzo
trams
często
to
właśnie takie inicjatywy
be
oddolne.
marked in a
bardziej,
better way, but these are
na razie
usually
to działanie
grassroots
jest od
initiatives.
nas. I to powinno chyba wynikać z nas.
But I
Ja
believe,
nie do końca wierzę,
yes,
że
and
my
I
jesteśmy
believe
szybko
that
w stanie, wiecie,
we should be
państwowo
doing
zarządzić
what we're doing.
em,
I'm not sure if we
tym
can
wszystkim
quickly
niestety.
manage
Bo
what
jak
is
sami widzicie, to
happening.
bardziej ta cała
because,
reakcja, to jest reakcja was. To
Well,
wy
this
zrobiliście.
whole reaction that
wszyscy
was
ludzie,
there,
którzy-
it was
którzy pomogli.
yours.
Bez was by
You
tego
know,
nie
the
było.
reaction of
I-
people who
i
helped.
chyba do tego się sprowadza.
So without you,
No i życzę nam
you know,
tego, żeby oczywiście tam na górze też patrzyli na to i chcieli nam
this wouldn't have
jak
happened.
najbardziej ułatwić. To też nie
And
jest
it
tak,
would
że
be
nie
great
chcą, nie?
if
Bo też
people
jest wielu polityków,
who are above us,
którzy
you
bardzo
know,
to
they
patrzą,
would
bardzo są
love
tym
to
zainteresowani, tylko że to jak mówię,
facilitate
ta
the
inercja
situation
jest
for
dużo-
us.
dużo większe niż byśmy sobie tego chcieli, żebyśmy tego
Well, there are
spodziewali.
quite many engaged
Ja wiem, że nie jest
politicians,
prosta
but
odpowiedź,
inertia
nie to
among
znaczy,
them is
to-
also quite high.
Bo to jest jednak szokujące.
Yes,
Zaraz
it
po
is
wojnie oczywiście
quite
różnie takie
shocking.
bardzo
Right after the war,
wiele z nas jakby
very many
zareagowało
of us
jakby z naturalnego
became
ruchu ludzkiego pomocy.
involved. It was just
I przez moje
a
własne
natural
mieszkanie też się przewinęła dziewczyna z
reflex,
małym 5-letnim
and
chłopcem.
there
Na
was
koniec
also
końców
a
szukając
girl
pracy
with
w
a
Krakowie,
5-year-old
po miesiącu
boy
zdecydowała się
who
wyjechać do
stayed
Niemiec.
with my
I tam
family,
z
and
kolei
after a
uznała, że
month
niemieckie
she
społeczeństwo nie jest
decided
specjalnie gotowe na to,
to
żeby
go
spojrzeć
to
na nią z jakąś
Germany,
wielką empatią, ale
and
z kolei
then she
system
found
zadziałał,
out
przysługowała
that
niemiecka maszyna po prostu jakby tip-top.
maybe
Natychmiast
German
znalazły się
society
zasoby, natychmiast się
wasn't
nagle
really
okazało, że są wszystkie oznaczenia,
ready to
a Ukraińców
have her there,
zaraz po
but
wojnie w
this
Niemczech
system
było
worked very
bez
quickly.
porównania mniej, bez porównania mniej.
Półtora miliona.
I to wydaje mi się,
Especially
że
that
to
the
jednak
number of
jest problem,
Ukrainians in
że
Germany
polskie
was
państwo ma
much
środki, że ma,
lower
ma
than in
możliwości i
Poland. Yes,
chyba
around 1
od nas
million.
zależy oprócz
And
tego, że
I
mamy
believe that
mieć
the Polish
pomoc.
state,
Nawet nie chodzi w sensie takim politycznym, akcji
has the
politycznej,
funds.
ale żeby jakieś pewne akcje oddolne wykonywać dokładnie, żeby to status quo jakby
So
tego
that
monolitycznego
certain
kraju trochę
grassroots,
monokulturowego zmienić, bo to się zmieni, to
actions
czy nam
are
się podoba, czy nie.
taken.
I to jest, myślę, że dla nas
So
po
that
prostu praca, którą musimy wykonywać.
Tak.
Także w postaci happeningów, nawet rzeczy, które
We
jakby
alter
niekoniecznie przez
in the
fundację,
state
niekoniecznie
because
przez
we
oficjalne,
cannot
będzie
stay
to
and
wielkiego
be
takiego
this
buntu
monolith.
obywatelskiego, że jakby
I believe
to
we
się
should
dzieje,
have
czy nam się
this
podoba,
civil
czy nie, to
rebellion
się dzieje i my
here.
musimy coś z tym
Actually,
zrobić.
because what is happening is
Życzę
happening
nam
whether we
wszystkim,
like it
żeby
or
tak-
not,
żebyśmy
and we
tego
need
buntu
to
troszeczkę mieli.
deal with it.
Ale pamiętaj też, że
Yes,
my
I'd
przed
love us to be
wojną,
more rebellious.
przed kolejną
Now,
odsłoną
let's
tej
bear in
wojny,
mind that
mieliśmy
before
już
the
ponad
war,
1,5 miliona
we
Ukraińców. Oni
already
trochę sobie
had,
dostosowują ten świat do siebie. Oni go już też trochę
1.5
zmieniają ze swojej
million
perspektywy.
Ukrainians in
Więc
Poland.
to oni też nad tym pracują.
So
To
yes,
i
this
życzę
is
nam,
something
żebyśmy
they
dużo mocniej
keep
zaczęli to
working
robić,
on.
bo
So yes, I wish
taka
for
jest
us that
przyszłość.
we
słuchajcie.
are powerful and that we have strength to act because this is
Szukam
the
dłoni w
future.
górze.
Okay, I'm looking for raised hands.
Tutaj pytanie? Tutaj?
Cześć.
Bo wspominałeś o
Hi.
tym, że
Now,
te osoby
you
też dostają
mentioned that
pomoc
these
psychologiczną.
people
Pytanie,
get
czy
psychological
też
help
wy
too?
u was w zespole,
Do you?
bo są to tematy, które no nie są wam
in your
obojętne, też było
teams?
słychać po tobie, że to cię
Because,
poruszy,
well,
czy wy też
I can tell
staracie
that
się
the
dbać o to,
situation
żeby
moved you too.
właśnie wasza głowa była zdrowa.
Do you also
podczas
make
pracy
sure
z
that
tą materią?
you
To jest świetne
stay
pytanie.
sane
Trochę tego dotknąłem
in this whole
delikatnie,
situation?
pytanie. Trochę
Yes,
tego
it's a
dotknąłem,
great
bo my mamy
question.
naszego klienta B2C, który się zmienił,
We
ale
have
jedno
our
trzecie firmy to
B2C
są właśnie te
client
osoby.
which has has
I ja jako lider
changed,
w
but
zespole
1/3 of
nigdy
our
nie uczę
company
tego,
are
że
actually
wiecie, jak
these
się zachować,
people.
kiedy twoi ludzie z zespołu
And I've never been
i ludzie z innych zespołów, z
taught
którymi będzie
how
współpracował,
to
to taka
react
tragedia.
if
Którzy
people
nie
in
śpią
your
normalnie, którzy
team,
są
you
zestresowani,
know,
którzy są,
they are stressed out so
w
much
przypadku depresji, po
when
prostu
they
zareagować
don't
w ten sposób.
sleep. when
to jest
they
strasznie
at
trudne, żeby się
threshold
w tym
of
odnaleźć i nikt nas tego nie uczy na kursach.
depression.
I trudno się dziwić,
And
bo
you
to
know,
one nie do tego
no
służą.
one teaches you
Ale czy my,
such things
czy my
at
jakoś w jakiś sposób
UX
reagujemy? Tak, staramy się
courses.
reagować
So do we
w sposób
react?
psychologiczny, zapewnić,
Yes, we
naszym
try to
pracownikom,
react. We try to
ale to
provide
nie jest takie
psychological
oczywiste.
aid
To,
to
że
our
ktoś czuje się w taki
employees.
sposób, to dla niego nie jest naturalne, żeby prosić o pomoc
But you
psychologiczną.
know, if someone feels like this,
Czasem
it is not
zadania
natural for
dla
them
niektórych
to
działają.
ask for
I nie
psychological
chciałbym w formie eksperta występować, lepiej na przykład
assistance.
zająć się
You know,
pracą czy
giving
pomocą
tasks to
psychologiczną.
people
Wydaje mi się, że obie rzeczy
sometimes
powinny współgrać ze sobą.
works.
Taką
I believe
pomoc
that
staram się
both
zapewniać,
things
zapewnialiśmy
should be
taką linię
used.
dla naszych
We also
pracowników.
provided
Czasem to pomagało.
this
A
helpline
czasem
for
jak ktoś
our
potrzebuje po prostu
customers,
udać się w
and
obowiązków.
that
Mamy kolegę,
worked, but
który
some
za
of
dnia
them
pracował
just
8 godzin, a wieczorami
had
zbierał
to-
tary, kamizelki kuloodporne, jechał na granicę kilka godzin, wracał, patrzył spać
you
na kilka
know,
godzin
had
i
to
pracował dalej z nami. No, także
increase
te sposoby są
his
różne. I nie mogę
the
powiedzieć, że
amount
to
of duties
zrobiliśmy
he
idealnie
had. So,
i
for example,
wszystko
he
jest
worked
świetnie,
until 4 or
ale
5.
jakby
Then
wiemy,
he
zdajemy sobie sprawę z tego
went
problemu,
to
staramy się
the
go,
border and
adresować,
helped
rozumieć.
people.
E,
So yes, we try to address these problems and be more
bo to jest trochę takie
empathetic
pytanie o
and
to,
listen to
macie
people.
tych klientów B2C na zewnątrz, których słuchacie,
Because it's like
a czy
this.
słuchacie
Okay, so
swoje
you have
zespoły, nie?
these
Tego, co się dzieje wokół
B2C
organizacji, bo to też
people
bez tego, nie ma
who are
efektu.
outside
Ja
of the
często
company,
powtarzam
but then you
pobudzenia
have
niektórym,
people
że
in your
ja wolę mieć
company,
trochę
right?
gorszy produkt, ale
Well,
chcę, żeby mój zespół był
I'd
na tej
rather
samej
have
łodzi, co ja. A nie,
worse
żeby miał super
product,
produkt, ale to
but
wypadali mi ludzie z
for
ludzi.
my
Na tym też mi
people to be in the same boat. Then you know to
Dobra,
have this
szukam
perfect
dalej dłoni w
product
górze.
and people who are not in my boat anymore. Are
Dobra,
there
to
any
mamy
other
jeszcze jedno
questions?
pytanie, tym
Yes,
razem
we have
ze
one
Slido.
more
W jaki
question from
sposób
Slido.
zbieracie informacje na
How
temat
do
swojej
you
grupy docelowej?
collect
Skąd pochodzą
information on
dane,
your
które właśnie
target group?
prezentowałeś?
Where do you
Te dane, które
what's the source of the
prezentowaliśmy,
data that you have
pochodzą
presented?
akurat
The
z zewnątrz.
data-
Akurat zleciliśmy na zewnątrz to badanie. Jak
Well,
wiemy, że
we
jest potrzeba
actually
dużej grupy badawczej,
outsourced
więc
a
staraliśmy się
study,
randomizować przez firmę zewnętrzną. Ale jakby skąd my mamy dane, bo to
and
po części
this is
źródło
the
naszych
source
danych.
of
Mamy
the data.
zespół badawczy,
But
rozmawiamy z
generally,
ludźmi,
we have a research
pytamy ich,
team,
ilościówki,
we talk to
jakościówki, mamy
people,
nagrania użytkowników, mamy ogromną ilość danych,
we
opinii.
have,
Słuchajcie, mamy zbyt
quantity
dużo, w sensie można powiedzieć, że mamy
studies
zbyt
and
dużo danych.
quality
Nie
studies.
jesteśmy w stanie ich obrabiać. Mamy ich tak dużo, że my
And to
musimy
be honest, we
pochylać
have
się z każdym
too
problemem
much
po kolei,
data. It's
po kolei
difficult
się
for us to
rozgrywać,
process
żeby,
this
żeby
data.
to wszystko poskładać. Nie mam wrażenie, że w wielu dzisiaj aspektach i segmentach rynku nie ma problemu z danymi.
So I believe that
z ich
there's no
obrabianiem,
problem
więc,
when it comes to
de
data
facto
right now.
robimy
The problem
większość metod
is in
badawczych, jakie są
processing
dostępne na
this
rynku w różny
data.
sposób, ale na przykład to taka ciekawostka, która może być
Well,
interesująca, to jest
just
to,
a
że
curiosity that you might
przestaliśmy
find
bezpośrednio
interesting.
wychodzić do ludzi na jakieś, wiecie, testy funkcjonalne, kiedy zaczęła się wojna. Bo
We've
to nie jest moment,
stopped
żeby
functional
rozmawiać z ludźmi,
tests.
czy
You
ty
know,
umiesz
once
zapisać
the war
godziny swojej pracy?
started,
Kiedy
because
ludzie
this is not
zestresowani
the
siedzą ze swoimi
time
dziećmi,
to actually
chcą się napić
ask
wody,
them whether they are
zaopiekować
able
się
to
swoim dziadkiem,
describe their
babcią,
job.
którzy
No,
są
at
bardzo
this time they
zestresowani.
need
To
to
nie był
look
moment na
after
takie
their
badanie.
children, you
To
know,
jest
their
bardzo wrażliwy temat i
parents
taki
and so on.
delikatny,
So
w jaki
that
sposób do niej
wasn't the
podchodzić, w
time
jaki
for
sposób
such
mieć
studies.
wyczucie tej
You need
empatii.
to be
Dzięki
really
Bogu mamy dostęp do
empathetic
informacji,
and
mamy dużo badań ilościowych, jakościowych i kontakt
think
z
about
naszymi
people.
pracownikami. bo
So
dlatego
yes,
też
we
mamy
have
koordynatorów, którzy na co dzień
quantity
pracują z
studies
tymi
and
ludźmi, więc też
quality
zbierają
studies,
od nich feedback, informacje,
and
w
we
jaki
collect
sposób się czują, i my tym
feedback
samym
from
wiemy troszeczkę
people.
więcej z pierwszej ręki.
This
I
way
oczywiście mamy
we
pracowników
know how
wewnętrznych,
people
którzy mają
feel.
rodziny.
And we also
To też
have
jest totalna
our
informacja.
internal employees who have their
Dziękuję
families and they
bardzo.
also
Piotr
provide this
Marszałkowski,
information.
wielkie brawa.
Thank you very much. That was Piotr Marszałkowski. A round of applause.